Level 85 race is already finished, and it was finished in just under 3 hours since Cataclysm launched.
What?
And what went into this world first race is pretty crazy. It's an insane story, especially when you consider that Blizzard literally saw how fast this player was leveling and made it so that all of the mobs he was farming actually gave 0 experience. That's right, they hotfixed his strategy not only once, but it actually happened twice. So let's break down exactly how he was able to pull off this insane race to world first.
So I know there is some sort of like, I'm gonna say like a bug you can abuse where if you have a full group of people, basically like 4 people in a group, like a party, and then those 4 people are just dead in ghost form, you actually, there is a group bonus experience where you get 20% more experience by being in a group with those people. So I assume he probably turned in, I don't know, like 50 quests at the beginning, then went to some sort of crazy hyperspawn place, had that group buff going, and then just farmed mobs at the hyperspawns, right? Because 3 hours is insanely fast. Like, what's the average kata? Like 80 to 85 for like an average leveler? I would assume 15, 20 hours if you're just leveling.
And at the end, there's a little bit of a snippet, something pretty great, because this was a redemption arc for LMGD because he put so much more effort into the level 80 race in Wrath of the Lich King and was on track to get that. But a similar situation happened where the world first actually went to Now, who was doing a farm very similar to this that did not get hotfixed that time. So let's dive into everything he did to pull off the world first race. So first of all, after trying to figure out where to level, what would be the fastest strategy, a friend suggested to LMGD that he check out Athene's leveling spot. This is where the world first happened back in original Cataclysm. Shout out to Athene. But LMGD was headed out to Twilight Highlands when he flew past this location, and he noticed these 7 mobs just kind of standing here and decided, what would happen if I just kill them? And lo and behold, they gave a decent amount of experience and they instantly respawned. This is a huge thing to note. Instant respawns and hyperspawns are massive for leveling racing.
Yeah, dude, especially like, look at this. He's probably full ICC 25-man heroic geared and he's one-shotting everything. And it looks like he's playing on a Russian, LMGD is Russian, by the way. It looks like he's playing on a Russian client. I think he's probably playing on a complete dead server. So there's no competition. So this guy, LMGD, literally leveled to 85 on a character he'll just not play on. Because I was opening his stream this morning when I woke up, and I saw he was already leveling like another character on Gehennas. Like he just leveled up the world first character, and then he straight up quit it. Yeah, but I think that's what Joker did too. Back in original world first 60 for Classic, Joker leveled on like a really dead like RP realm just so he had no competition, right? And he quit the character afterwards. Yeah, he's doing 1.3 mil XP per hour. It's so warm today, Trex. It is insanely warm.
So now he just needed to figure out if this was going to be the fastest way to level, because leveling in Deepholm is very powerful, and this was going to be the original plan. The only issue with leveling in Deepholm means you need to get to level 82 to be able to pull off some of those strats. So what he was doing instead was testing out what class would be the fastest to level right here. And while testing that, he actually leveled up and geared a Paladin and a Death Knight, both of which he got Shadowmourne on just to test this on the beta. And it wasn't until literally last week with the beta raid test that he realized that he might be able to pull this off on Shaman. And that's because of 2 major things. Now, the first thing is you can notice these mobs are alliance mobs. That's because they're tied to an alliance PV or a PvP event in general in the Twilight Highlands. And that PvP event does need to be completed for you to get this little buff right here. If you can see it, I'll zoom in on it. But this buff right here is actually a buff that gives you 1000 spell power and 400 attack power. And this buff,
so you can just kill mobs so fast. At this point, it's impressive waking up after midnight launch, so your world first hasn't been achieved. I don't know. I just think what I think is funny about these things is obviously like good job for LMGD. I just think it's funny how much work goes into it. Or like, not funny, but like impressive, right? They really just, they come up with the weirdest, craziest strats to level fast. It's insane.
Goes out as long as your faction has won or completed this PvP event.
Yeah.
So while he was turning in his quest hack, his friends went over here and completed this event. But that's not even all that went into leveling here. You can notice that he also has thorns on him. And there are 2 druids standing here just permanently putting on thorns, just the buff on top of them, which scales with spell power, and thorns count as your own damage. So if you have a mage that's just arcane explosioning permanently, as well as another shaman that's helping you out, you are still doing 50% of the HP of the mobs, even if you're not even really hitting them, because of how hard that thorns hits. Now, it's important to know that you need to do at least 50% of the HP of mobs if you want to get full experience from them. And that's not even the only thing. Again, one more major thing that's kind of crazy, and I never saw this happen before. It's tech that I believe he came up with himself, is that if you have a warlock and a mage duel each other, you see the mage casting arcane explosion right in the middle. If he is technically in a duel with a warlock at the time, and the warlock casts curse of elements on the mage, every time the mage casts arcane explosion, it will then put curse of elements up on all of the targets. So
what? Wait, so he's standing here, then there's an elemental shaman with him, and a druid buffing him, and a mage dueling a warlock so he can get curse of elements. But this guy, it's like a 10-man operation at this point. Oh my gosh.
during this entire farm, he is buffed by over 1,000 spell power, has gigabuff thorns on him the entire time, and all of the mobs are getting debuffed with Curse of Elements.
Okay.
So he is able to do, as you can see, 13 million XP an hour in this location until Blizzard decided it should be hotfixed while he was at level 84.
Yeah.
And you'll notice right now, just out of nowhere, the mobs stopped giving experience. Legitimately, Blizzard hotfixed this to no longer give experience in the middle of his run. He was already 84, and most people were about level 82 that were in.
I mean, probably good that they're hotfixing it fast, though. I'm surprised they did it that fast. So I would assume this is probably 2 hours after launch, and they're already hotfixing something. That's pretty on point.
The race world first, almost 83 or slightly 83. He is significantly ahead at this point. So with this happening, and once you notice that the XP is plummeting from your 13 million an hour, and his next strategy was to move on somewhere very close to this area, because he realized during his testing that the tanks in this area, if you take out these tank mobs right in the middle, even though they have 3 kind of engineers healing them the whole time, if you take out the tank themselves, it will instantly nuke all of the ads that are working on the tank, and you'll get experience for all 4 of the targets. So
dude, people figure out the craziest things. What is
as you're seeing,
he has like 10 people following him around. What the hell?
He's getting XP for everything, and these things respawn at a ridiculous rate again as well, because not
imagine if they fixed the frogs this fast.
only are they for a quest, but they're also part of a PvP event. So now he moved to doing this as an XP farm, but there's one other issue here, and that's that Blizzard was watching again. They literally nerfed this farm as well, making it so that these mobs now were giving 0 experience. And this is kind of gonna suck for people that end up questing or leveling here, because now all of these give 0 experience as well, and some other people found his location. So now
it's just one quest though. For people like leveling, it's not a big deal, right? Like there's just a few mobs that don't give XP.
To figure out what to do, how he was going to try to still make it to level 85 before anyone else. And this is where plan C comes into action, heading all the way to Deepholm. And here in Deepholm, he was farming the mobs, getting about 6 million experience per hour.
That's still pretty, that's still a lot, man. You know, see, think about the 21 months. Aspen, watch your SP carry video. Yeah, I saw Aspen watch the VOD of it.
Just as a reference, if you're doing normal quests.
Why the LMGD hate? They didn't do that for the ICC mobs? I'm not hating. I think it's impressive. I mean, honestly, I just like watching this. I mean, shout out to LMGD, man, for getting world first 85. I'm not hating at all.
You're getting somewhere between 1 and 3 million XP an hour. This is 6 million
cool.
XP an hour that he's getting just farming the mobs in Deep Home, as well as we saw some other players that were relatively close in the Race to World First. Shout out to Orlando, who were able to get around 6 million to 7 million XP an hour as well. Now, there are ways of getting more experience than this, and I will have a video breaking down what are the highest XP per hour farms in the entirety of Cataclysm, at least until hopefully Blizzard doesn't patch them. And if you think all of this preparation is crazy, just listen to this bit from LMGD himself.
Hold on. I think it's obvious why Blizzard's targeting him and not NA streamers doing their own exploits. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if how much stuff got you know, fixed and stuff like that fast. But I will say it is very quick to nerf though 2 times in a row. And he still goes through and wins, actually. That's pretty impressive.
Thing is that my prep for World First of Wrath was so much more than this. Like, if you think this is crazy, like, I've never told you a story what I did for Wrath World First, and that was 10 times more complicated. That was literally 10 times more complicated.
And what a redemption arc, a revenge arc after losing the level 80 race in Wrath of the Lich King to a farm very similar to the one he did here today, but it did not get patched that time. So huge grats one more time, LMGD, you did it. And guys, if you want to see some more Cataclysm content, make sure to let me know in the comments.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, he got it done. I think what's more impressive about like the levels itself and stuff like that is more so just like the prep and like all the different kind of strats he comes up with, right? I think that's what is impressive about it. But holy crap, what I'm gonna do now though, guys, is I'm gonna go on my warrior and I'm gonna turn on the ambience and I'm gonna turn on the in-game sound and I'm gonna hit to Vashir and I'm gonna just enjoy myself. Yeah, we're gonna just be a Cataclysm enjoyer, guys. That's what we're gonna do, chat.